Hello, League fans, and welcome back. Once again, I am Dominic Romer, and we've hot-swapped out the color casters. Joining me this time, is Sam Kobe Hartman-Kensler.
Hello, and how are you?
I am doing well. And yourself?
Very well.
Yeah, freshly hot swapped. Well, coming up, we've got the oldest LCS, one of the oldest LCS teams, facing off against one of the newest, TSM versus APX. And there's a bit of a history there between a particular member on APX and TSM.
Ah, yes, X Special, because he used to be on TSM.
Yeah.
One of the founding members, of course, and he's in good standing with Reggie and crew and the entire organization as well. Happy to see him doing well on one of the new teams. But you know who's really doing well is TSM this split. TSM, they come out of the gate like a rocket, really, really fast. There's only 2 matches, but they do have one of the fastest game times. You know, they're playing really well so far with the new support, Biofrost up there with them. This time around, though, APX is an opponent that does have a winning record. They start off that first week 2-0 in their matches. And maybe we'll see some focus on the mid lane once again. Like TSM showed in week 1, where Bjergsen and the rest of the team, got advantages in the mid lane, and were able to push that to victory.
The contrast, though, on the other side is Keen in Apex. He'll have his work cut out for him over the course of this match, and we'll really take a look to see if he can be creative once again.
Yeah, exactly. Bring him maybe an Urgot to try and surprise Bjergsen. He was one of the original people in the mid lane there to get surprise counters on Bjergsen. I'll see if he tries to go for something like that this time around.
Yeah, and currently Apex have come into the split with some high ambitions to be a top contender. So far, so good, but TSM are going to be a really big challenge on top of their opponents last night with Envy.
Yeah, Apex dropping that series to Envy was pretty close. They were hanging in there, and Ray showed himself to be a very, very strong component that they can try and use. But these are 2 teams with contrasting styles. As I talked about a little bit earlier, TSM, they have the fastest average game time in the North American LCS so far, 33 minutes and 56 seconds. Whereas Apex, they're actually 7th in the average game time, one of the slowest. But, their games yesterday where they did lose, they still had a lot of bright moments. I definitely love the games with Ray on the Jarvan carry. Full damage, came out with some very surprising burst damage. And as we said, Keen can pull that stuff out too. So that's a flex pick full damage Jarvan that they do have to work with.
Yeah, well, the big question is, though, can Apex still win if it isn't Ray on those Jarvans, Ray on those huge fizz plays? And we're really going to be looking to see if Apex can show us something new today. Well, as the new team on the LCS block, Apex are still being figured out by their opponents. And we actually asked TSM support Biofrost for his thoughts on the Apex lineup.
I think Apex is pretty good. I played against them in Challenger Series, actually, on Dream Team, and they were pretty good in Challenger Series. They changed their roster a little bit for the LCS. I think they're good. They definitely look a lot better after their boot camp in Korea, so I think it'll be a really good match.
Yeah, and to talk about that a little bit more, when they did play in Challenger, they still had very long game times.
Yeah, and, they've got a 10-man roster, too. They've been switching around players, picking up a whole bunch of new players, so they have a lot to work with, and some secret practice partners as well.
Well, we'll see if that practice is going to come into effect today, but now it's time to get things started. So we're going to go over who's starting for each of these teams. On the blue side, it's TSM. In the top lane, it's Hanser, jungler Svenskeren. Mid lane, Bjergsen, AD carry Doublelift, new support Biofrost, and their coach Park.
And lining up under the Apex banner is Ray in the top lane. In the jungle, it will be Shrimp. Keen in mid. Apollo is the AD carry. Support X Special and Coach St. Vicious back in the LCS. Never can quite get rid of that guy.
So, again, this is a big litmus test for both of these teams because TSM, this is the first team they get to play with a winning record. And for Apex, this is a big challenge of currently TSM are looking the strongest.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Apex, they had a big challenge in week 1, everyone thought. And in facing CLG, they took them down. If they can take down CLG and TSM, the home names of North American LCS, that would be huge for them in entering the LCS, and they could truly actually live up to their name as Apex Predators.
Yeah. well, we're not quite at the top of the food chain just yet, though. The Apex Predators.
Yeah, TSM is.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what we're going to find out today. If the Lions can take, I don't know what kind of animal TSM would be in this Ridiculous scenario. Okay, we'll just move on into Champion Select, as TSM are going to open up with the first ban. Caitlyn banned away from Apollo. Fairly standard.
Yeah, Caitlyn's been rising up the ranks lately. The AD carry pool is actually in a bit of turmoil, and I'm hoping to see some misfortune around here in the North American LCS, because we got a couple peaks elsewhere across the world, but hasn't quite showed up here yet. And it does take a team to build around team fighting.
Yeah.
But I really do like the little adjustments that they've been making, especially to her laning phase and a lot of the burst speed that she does have.
Very strong champion. We'll see if that goes through this time. Doublelift, of course, a very good AD carry, but the next two bans are going to be Nidalee, taken away from Shrimp, and Vladimir from TSM.
Okay, Vlad off the table. I mean, it's really difficult to ban against TSM because they've shown to be such a multi-threat team, and it's really just a team where you kind of have to go down the line and say, what champions are we just most scared of in general? Because TSM can pretty much carry from any lane and play most of the top of the ladder champions in those roles.
Aurelia banned away from Ray. We got to see his Jarvan yesterday, so...
Talk about champion pools. Yeah, Ray is deep here. He's had huge Fizz games. He had the Jarvan game. He even played the Shen game, the single Shen game that we've seen this season. They didn't quite utilize that as effectively maybe as they could have. And I definitely like to see Ray on a more damage-dealing champion, either bruiser, backline diver, or split pushing. So see what they do grab for him. Interesting LeBlanc ban here against Bjergsen. They're really, really scared. I mean, everybody's seen what Bjergsen can do to people on that champion. And as we said, Keen is going to be a target. If Bjergsen earns his own advantage in mid lane, the rest of the team's very happy to back that up and pressure that champion, dive whoever happens to be there for the enemy team. And Keen does not want to have that coming his way.
Yeah, so the first pick for TSM, you just saw Hanser sort of hover through some of Ray's picks. He's played Echo a few times. He's played Jarvan once. And before finally settling in on that Rek'Sai for the first pick. So APX giving it the old hover right now. I think they're just trying to get our hopes up.
Yeah, I mean, the Rek'Sai pick is become super standard. Most pick jungler now with the nerfs to Nidalee and Kindred, although Nidalee obviously is finding herself more on the ban portion of pick bans than the pick portion. But Kindred's been the one that really has started getting through with those nerfs because the nerfs hit her harder in competitive than they did in standard. There's your hope stash, Dom. Not going to early pick a Jarvan, just threatening it there with the hovers. But yeah, the Kindred going over to round 2 here does have to focus a lot more on stacks, as people have been saying. But a lot of the ones we have seen have still had really strong early games. If you give over a couple early kills there, she still really snowballs extremely hard, and maybe even harder than before, because the extra stacks, you can actually get over the damage that she used to be at.
We saw how effective Proxen was with it yesterday, so we'll see if Shrimp can sort of learn from that in this next set. Now, TSM have already gone for their next 2 picks. Swain locked in for TSM, along with Lucian for Doublelift. Now, this is 6-11.
Yes, it is. Both those champions did get nerfs, but again, they were sort of even-handed nerfs, not too harsh. And Lucian's still second most picked AD carry across the world this week. It's definitely still very high up there. They're trying to get kind of a mid-range teamfight skirmish comp here for TSM so far. Rek'Sai does have a lot of good early and mid-game control, especially farming out the other jungler. Lucian usually has a pretty strong lane, as does Swain. So TSM, they're not looking to show any moments of weakness so far in their curve in this game. And Apex, it looks like a little bit more scaling here, but there it is. The Fizz that we're assuming is going to Ray.
Yeah. We've seen him play it twice already, so we are expecting it to go towards that top lane for Ray, which means that could be Swain to answer it, unless Bjergsen decides he wants that Swain for himself in the mid lane. Finally, Ashe locked in for Apollo. Now, we already saw it earlier today with Keith, and it was pretty good at getting picks, but it just didn't have enough damage.
I do like it, though, because so many people have been talking about how there's a lot of opportunity to bring your crowd control and your utility from the bottom lane. Ashe and Karma, if that is a support Karma, brings so much, because you have disengage and engage in that bottom lane. With her speed up plus the Ashe arrows, a lot of control if you can you know, position accordingly because you have so much control over the speed of your team and the speed of the enemy team due to the slows that you can apply. Kind of opens up the windows for your damage dealers in your jungler and your top laner, the Fizz and the Kindred to work around. That's going to be hard to work around though.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Azir wall, even though it did get nerfed to 3 seconds, still very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, the damage didn't really get touched that much, but TSM for their next picks, they're going to take Azir and Bard for Bjergsen and Biofrost. That's going to put that Swain in the top lane up against Ray's Fizz.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup there. I think Ray feels pretty confident in that, but again, that's one that really swings with junglers. Swain, everyone always cries about, you know, bully in the lane phase. He's so annoying now. It's too easy for him to CS with the Crow, but he still doesn't have escapes. So this is a guy waddling around. He's hobbling with his cane up in the top lane. It's a long lane. Go gank him, or at least get, you know, some vision applied there for your jungler, and you can definitely turn that lane around in your favor. Ray's definitely apt to do that on the Fizz as well, and there comes Keen Zillion once again going to allow Ray to dive to the backline. We saw it before, enabling the Jarvan. Now it's just going to be the same thing on Fizz.
Yeah, so it looks like Apex have sort of returned to something that has worked for them before. Enable Ray to make magic happen.
Yeah, exactly. They've got support basically from the other lanes with the Zillion applying the AoE stuns as well as the revive, and then all that CC and utility we talked about from the bottom lane here for Apex. Looks like they've got a pretty well-rounded comp. They are going to be running the double teleports as well. I assume that Bjergsen won't run that teleport, even though we have seen a couple Azirs opt into it. I'm still not a fan, even though double TP is so strong in the current meta. He definitely needs that cleanse so he doesn't get locked down. If he can have that DPS uptime, that's all you need for one of those late game team fights.
And we were talking about this a little bit earlier as well. Bjergsen has been playing so exceptionally well this past weekend. Well, now he's on a huge carry on that Azir. Keen's going to have his work cut out for him.
He definitely is, and it's not just going to be a 1 versus 1 either, as we know in this matchup.
Yeah, well, we're almost ready to kick this one off. Send us into the game by tweeting with hashtag TSMWin or hashtag APXWin to shout out who you think will win here in this game 1 of TSM versus Apex. We've got a very strong lineup between these two. Will TSM continue to the undefeated streak, or will Apex be able to take a win off of the cream of the NALCS crop?
Well, I'm going to wait to see who's going to be hitting their long-range ultimates in this game before I make that call, because both of these teams have a lot of, while they do have well-rounded team fighting, which is essential. Let's let the chance wash over you.
Yeah.
Both these teams do have, as we said, you know, some playmaking ability from the bottom lane. Bard is really good at picking people off. As is Ashe, obviously, with the arrow. So we'll see how well Apollo's accuracy stacks up to Biofrost's accuracy, because Biofrost's Bard in his debut week was extremely impressive. And it's all going to be about, you know, these cross-map movements, trying to affect all these lanes that are pretty volatile lanes, honestly.
Oh, Biofrost, he found him. They were right there over the wall. So he takes a bit of harass from Apollo and Special before heading back. He's actually going to have enough time to get a recall as well. And it doesn't, I say this preemptively, but it doesn't look like we're going to get a lane swap, as everyone is currently on the bottom side of the map. Both Haunter and Ray content to go for that 1v1 top lane.
Yeah, it also looks like we're both just going to have them start first camp as well.
Yeah.
So they should be coming in even. We have seen a couple teams mess up the early camps, but that definitely should not be the norm, and I feel like it's very simple on these two, so should be standard starts. And I do enjoy the standard starts immensely because we get to see more freedom for the junglers. You have so many more options, and that's really the exciting thing about playing jungle, is keeping your options open and being able to react to the game you know, as it unfolds. You got to take stock of all the lanes and how they are playing out. And try and manage your health well enough that you can actually act on the opportunities that do present themselves.
Yeah, so we do see Shrimp and Svenskaren both going for the double refillable potion. So we'll see if they can effectively manage that. Some basic regeneration already included in the kit of both of those champions too.
Yeah, both those champions are very, very... it's very easy for them to stay high health in the jungle. A couple of poke abilities here landing in the bottom lane as they start trading, and both junglers look like they will end on the bottom side of the map. If you take a look at their routes here. Kindred Shrimp actually decided to pass up the early red buff, and that is a choice about managing your health and about not using early stacks of his potion. For some reason, he wanted to be on the bottom side of this map much quicker and at very, very full health to try and answer Svenskeren. I guess the mark is what drew him over here without going for red buff, and the stun lowers the armor on the crab, makes it very easy to take, and he saves smite for it. You can see the added priority on getting these marks for Kindred after the nerfs, because that's where a lot of the makeup damage comes, and you can almost nullify those nerfs early on.
So with that, Apex were well prepared. You saw Apollo and Xpecial shoving in that bottom lane as well to make sure that if the fight were to break out, we could collapse. And they're continuing to harass now.
Yeah, it's kind of a dual purpose here, where Kindred's gonna path down to the bottom early to both support the bottom side, allow bottom to play aggressively. Ash Karma wants to land poke early. They were hitting their skill shots, so they wanted to try and push into turret and deny a little bit of CS. Plus, able to swing down, grab the mark, and as we said, can easily clear the jungle using the passive. Not losing any health, and Rek'Sai gets the other Scuttle Crab.
So it's double Scuttle traded over for the 2. As you can see, blue buff, in fact, is going to be gifted over to Bjergsen as Ray completes his first recall. And teleports back towards that lane, so Svenskeren being kind enough. Oh, free health, there it goes.
Yeah, it doesn't really hurt Rek'Sai at all, as we've seen a few times, handing over the very early blue buffs. We'll see here, because Keen is teleporting back into lane, and
yeah, Shrimp forces Svenskeren to flash. He can't burrow fast enough. Just wants to play it safe.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about, staying high in health. Here goes Ray, though, for some aggressive moves, knowing that the jungler is just chunked out. He's going to try and push Hansar under that turret as well to buy himself some time. Ray's also used his teleport, though, so both the solo lanes of Apex using teleports early just for their lane presence. And Hansar already re-harassing him almost out of lane. It's not really going to matter, though, because there's such good control by Shrimp in the jungle.
Already we can see invading, now trying to steal away the direwolves. He doesn't actually have his smite, Svenskeren. Oh, he didn't go far enough. Shrimp was able to pull it back out of vision and it resets.
Yeah, so the reason he let it reset there is because he wanted to pull it all the way out of vision, so he couldn't see from the fog of war. It was a necessary move that he had to make. Yeah, ideally you want to stay a little bit closer so the patience doesn't run out on that monster, but didn't want to let Svenskeren see what he was up to, and gets off the counter jungle there. Probably going to cost him though, and Svenskeren opts for the cross map. Pretty standard answers here as far as the junglers go.
Yeah, so you were talking a little bit about the sort of jungle freedom that's opened up by this as the duo lanes continue to trade it out. Well, so far, we have seen Shrimp moving around the map as much as possible, going for the first invade, in fact. And now he is going to be spotted out by a ward that Svenskeren has placed, so a little bit of priority on making sure that those lanes are safe, making sure you've got vision of the other jungler.
Yeah, and at this point in the game, that ward actually is just extra gold for Shrimp, so he's pretty happy since his Raptor buff was actually about to time out. Oh, cool, we've got this buff in here. Giving up his position wasn't a big deal. Since he's going to go to mid lane, soak up some more CS, I mean, Shrimp is having a very, very nice early game here on the Kindred. Pretty smooth. The only way it gets better than this is if you actually, get those early kills, which is the dream. But here he goes. He's going to run right through this ward, I believe. We talked about ganking Swain. He doesn't have escapes. Ray's on the Fizz. He can fully commit to it, but it looks like it's taking too long. Svenskeren finds out.
Yeah, Shrimp got caught sightseeing a little bit too long.
There goes your paint board. But yeah, you could also tell, we didn't have the camera on the top lane, but Ray does kind of have a tendency to play super aggressively when he knows he has jungle support, and pretty passively when he doesn't. And you can kind of tell just by the little movements and changes in play there from your lane opponent.
So Scuttle Crab was just picked up by Shrimp as a consolation prize to the gank that he was looking for, but as he was clearing it, it marked. So that's in fact the second quick mark for Shrimp.
Always sick to have that happen. Good feeling for the Kindred.
Yeah, TSM Vision now around the Baron buff. They've got wards all over that side of the map. Svenskeren even down there as well. So that is the Ocean Drake. Not very high priority very early on.
Yeah, it's actually the best effect on the win rate for early game of all the Drakes. Yeah, the Ocean Drake has the highest up to like 11 or 12 minutes, I think, effect on win rates as far as the percentage goes. And you can see the difference in priority here. Apex are using most of their wards on top lane because they want to punish that Swain. If you let Swain just fully fizz in the early game, that's where this CS discrepancy is going to come from and start to grow. And they kind of made an effort there, you know, to send some jungle pressure up because, you know, you want to help out the all-in melee champion so he doesn't get bullied. But the opposite end of the spectrum is, of course, TSM side, where they've got wards on the bottom side around this Ocean Drake, you know, and pressuring into the jungle even.
Ooh, Bjergsen catches Keen. Keen just
No damage.
slides on out of there. Takes a bit of harass, but manages to keep his cool. And to talk about that a little more, you know, this is Apex, again, playing around Ray. Enable Ray to do awesome things. And so far, he's actually down about 20 CS, and TSM are content to play against him.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, Fizz into Swain matchup's going to be hard if you're alone by yourself. They did make that a little bit of an effort to head up there a couple times and allow him not to get blasted even harder, I guess.
Yeah, he's actually going to look for a bit of harass, never moved just to soak a bit of damage there.
If he can burn the flash all by himself, then that in itself is huge. And that will earn him CS eventually because it will force Hanzo to play a bit further back and play a lot more cautiously, allowing Ray to walk up and get those melee executions on the minion. But, you know, no flash burn there. He does go for the all-in. Now without his ultimate, there's very little threat. And Haunter has to feel pretty secure after healing back up using the new passive on this Catalyst, just spamming spell play.
Yeah. Such a strong combo on that Swain as Shrimp continues to farm it up. Svenskeren has been keeping pace on this Rex side despite all of the free time that Shrimp has had to continue to roam around the map. He's actually going to try to head towards the top and cheat into the bush.
Yep, he has the Rafter buff as well. You can see the slight lines emanating from the champion there, so he knows for sure there's no ward inside this lane brush. Ray, as we said though, he doesn't have his ultimate now, so it would have to be a pretty hard commit from Haunter if they were going to take him down, considering, you know, Haunter does have so much regeneration and, you know, post-level 6 Swain, decent self-healing, plus the flash is available, so maybe this is just a flash burn.
Haunter is going to walk right in. Yeah, he immediately flashes.
All right, well, that's a decent use of your time. Burning that flash, as we said, that might affect Haunter's playstyle if Ray can appropriately control the minion wave after. And it looks like Haunter's shoving it, so...
Oh, they're going to go back in. There's a flash from Shrimp, and Haunter is first blooded by Ray.
Little greedy there from Haunter, shoving that wave, but Svenskeren looks to answer bottom side.
Oh, flash from Apollo sidesteps the Tempered Fate. Double lift is going to drop a culling, but the minions are going to soak a lot of it, and Apollo walks out.
Yeah, I think Apollo thought he was in turret range, but pop him on the head with that arrow real quick. Don't come back to my lane. Don't gank me again. Meanwhile, top lane, Shrimp with a very effective just duck out into Fog of War. Doesn't even waste any time for the repeat gank.
Yeah.
Immediately returning after burning that flash. Svenskeren and the rest of TSM, though, trying to answer and get that early game Drake. It's already, you know, kind of approaching the mid game, though.
Yeah, so this is the first Drake of the game. Spotted out just in time by Apollo, but secured by TSM 11.5 minutes in. That's still pretty close to that 11-minute mark that you were talking about. So we'll see if that actually ends up affecting their win rate at all.
It is always good.
Yeah.
You know, out of combat regeneration's great. Rek'Sai probably won't have a problem with it anymore, though. Every dragon does obviously count for the Elder Dragon true damage, but some convergence on mid lane. 3 people from Apex are coming in here. Can Keen get the slow? Ooh. Cannot.
One bomb lands, but can't find the second one. Apex tried to make something happen, but couldn't quite find it as Bjergsen dodges out. Ray even roamed down for a bit. He's down about 20 CS in that top lane, but with that first blood, that's certainly going to feel good.
Yeah, and you know, Fizz always kind of comes with a an acceptable risk level, an acceptable CS discrepancy level as well. This is kind of bordering on, you wish you a little bit better than that, but they've made efforts, and now that he's got the kill, and it was a first blood kill to boot, he's feeling real good about his situation. With the cowl, it changes the matchup so much. The regeneration from, small poke now of every spell profiting that extra health regen for you and then built-in magic resist feels really nice. So I don't expect Ray to bleed any more CS, and I think that's about the threshold he's going to try and keep it at.
Yeah, we'll keep track on him for that.
Bottom
TSM
lane.
sending a lot of people bottom. Paulo has no flash. There's the magical journey. Double lift leads the charge. There's no flash this time. Svenskeren
And they arrive in time.
right up, and there's a stun now onto Svenskeren. Ray turns it around and is knocked up, forced to hop out. Hanser even joined the fight, and that fight is dissuaded.
Yeah, a couple people getting a little too close to the fire there, and everybody backs off. Nobody, no harm, no foul, though. Nobody goes down. Just testing the waters there from everybody. They actually do burn both teleports, so that came out pretty even, and everybody's just going to calm down after that move.
TSM saying, be cool, man, be cool. We didn't mean it.
Yeah, same for Apollo. He's getting a little bit worried there. No ult, no flash. Gets a bit dicey there as Ashe, and you see 4 people through the magical journey.
Yep. Now Svenskeren, you can see clearing out his red buff. In fact, he's managed to catch up in CS, and in fact, past Shrimp just a little bit. It's still even between the two, but Shrimp not quite having a lot of time to look for those marks. He is on his 3rd stack, though.
Yeah, feeling pretty good. Past that first phase of the marks. So I'll have to work a little bit harder nowadays. Meanwhile, down bottom, I'm actually quite impressed with Apollo and Xpecial. Ashe getting up to the point where these arrows can be game-changing. This is the mid-game where the picks really, really count and can provide that big swing. Gold lead right now, really super close. So, you make one meaningful pick with an Ashe arrow, even cross map or something like that, you can start to snowball because all towers stand right now, and it's late in the game, so definitely the damage reduction has dropped off of them, and the champions are getting to the point where they can melt through outer turrets. So you get a couple kills, you get some control of one of the sides of the map, you're also going to probably claim tower gold on top of that kill.
Shrimp once again heads towards the top side of the map. There's a fish toss from Ray, and Hanser immediately drops into crow form. Shrimp catches up, but Hanser, with his flash, is able to walk towards his turret. A little overzealous from Ray. I see what you were talking about now. Once he knows that someone's there, he just kind of maybe gets a little too greedy for the kill.
Oh, yeah. Need a little coordination. Everybody's got to be right on that, moving at the same time. But it's a really hard because...
if you play too passive, then they'll just leave.
Yeah, he can't get Shrimp can't get much closer before the action starts. So, I think Hanser's just in the mode now. He's like, I'm not going to stop bullying this guy. I got my big CS lead over him. All's good, That first blood definitely haunting him. Oh, I didn't even mean to do that. No.
Freak's not even here, man. That's okay.
Let's move on.
He affects all of us sometimes. Keen continues to farm it up in mid. 15, 16 minutes in. So far, it's been a pretty slow game. Svenskeren invading is going to try to look for some deep vision before this next Cloud Drake spawns, but Shrimp is already ready with a few wards of his own. Yeah, the wards are going to be really important. I already mentioned, the Ashe arrow possibilities. The Bard picks are just as real for Bilefrost. If these guys can get the deep vision down, which right now, TSM is the team that's controlling all of this vision around the Drake. So they're feeling really good about setting up for the possible skirmish around Drake, even though it is the Cloud Drake, the most lamented of Drakes. It still is going to stack very nicely, towards the end game there. Yeah, we'll see if either of the teams decide to fight over it as Svenskeren sees Shrimp back off, and it immediately invades on the far side. Ray continues to take punishment from Hanser. Shrimp finally is going to catch up and be able to secure his Krugs. But Svenskeren, that's an awfully bold place for him to be. All right, well, they're going to delay here, the recall. Dragon's up in 20 seconds, so there's a possibility of trying to make an a play while they know Ray's in base, and if they time their teleport really accurately,
they can have the confidence to go for that, but sometimes, you know, you're fudging a little bit on the numbers there. Was it quite right when I timed that teleport? This is pretty close.
Oh, Svenskeren, in fact, rushed bottom. There's a teleport from Keen completed. He goes face-to-face with Bjergsen, but it looks like TSM are just going to try to break down this tier 1.
And I like this preemptive play here. They take out the bottom turret right before the dragon spawns. As we said, they had already done the groundwork of setting up a bunch of vision around this area. Now they've already got a whole bunch of map control. And actually, they're going to recall the bottom lane. So Apex, after this Scuttle Crab, could try and force something. The only problem is Apex didn't have vision of that recall. So not quite sure if they can force it or not. But if they did make the immediate call, they could have bursted down that Cloud Drake.
Now it looks like they're going to have to settle for mid and Dragon instead, as Apex are going to be the ones who reap the success of that Dragon. Shrimp going to feel pretty happy about being able to kill that. Cloud Drake number 1 for Apex.
And all right, let's look at, you know, positives of the Cloud Drake. If an Ash Arrow does hit, the other members of Apex that are running towards that person can close the distance a bit quicker. So if they do get, you know, one of those long-range picks.
You make Cloud Drake sound like someone trying to set up a blind date. Really, he's great. He has a great personality.
Cloud Drake does have a great personality. He's got the fastest attack speed. He's a talker. He's an active person.
So mobile.
If it's a he, I'm not quite sure. Might be a she.
Cloud Drake will chase you down, fastest move speed. Okay, maybe that's not a great thing to say for setting up a blind date.
Yeah, she'll chase him down. Woo, okay.
Oh, man.
He's single, ladies. Dom is accepting applications at the moment. Speed, definitely a positive.
Okay, 19 minutes in.
Less than a little bit, yeah.
Bringing it back, bringing it back. Looks like Apex sent a few members towards the top side of the map right now. Ray's on the bottom with teleport, double lift.
Interesting shrimp movement here. Just closing in on the top lane. Double lift, there it is.
Oh, and the arrow hits double lift. They're able to kill him before he can use anything.
As much as I'd like to give some credit to Cloud Drake there, he had no part in it. Great Ash Arrow there from Apollo. Is able to get the low health double lift, and Haunter now is the one with Ray behind him, but nobody else. So he's actually fine, and it's Ray who's kind of trapping himself.
Yeah.
They would have to get a bunch of people over here. Right now, Zillion's on the way, but they probably need another person.
Yeah, he turns on to Haunter. Keen gets knocked up. They're trying to burst through Haunter. There's a Nevermore. He's down to a third health. There's another bomb, and he flashes and gets out. Oh, man, but it's not enough. Ray goes down before the Lamb's respite.
Yeah. You set up those bush ganks, and you're like, you know what? We got the advantage. We got the surprise on him. We only have 2 teammates. He's actually has more health than me, so good outplay, though, from Haunter, because it was actually really close in that skirmish. And the flash over the wall there, he obviously left the Crow on the other side, ending up with the extra damage there, and he does get the kill onto Ray. So pretty big outplay from TSM in the 2 versus 2 there. Increases their gold lead. They also have map pressure, so a lot of damage taken here from the mid turret during that time. And Bjergsen stacking up on the Sazir, becoming a very, very threatening mid-game force, even though TSM did get picked off. Pretty good answer right there. And they're wearing away at the turrets as well. So let's take another look. Yeah, so Ray was sitting in that bush the whole time. He was about half life. And again, it was just going to be the 2 versus 2 since they didn't wait for Kindred. Ray does end up going down just outside that Lantern fight. So
there's a fight at the red buff. Special gets shredded by double lift. Svenskeren now is left far too deep. Ray's actually going to chase through the tunnel and dodge over the side. So it is a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, pretty even skirmish there, but jungler down for support. Let's see if this 2 versus 2 actually comes to a head. Shrimp's gonna face check the bush though. He can do that because he's strong.
Currently 0-2, 100 CS. Feeling pretty strong about himself.
Also, I guess the Ash Arrow is still down from the last pick, so not really a threat of following that up. But Ray's going in on double.
Yeah. Oh, and Shrimp is going to follow up. There's a flash. Good stun is going to lock Shrimp down. Teleport completed from Haunter, and suddenly Apex might have gone too deep. There goes the respite, but Ray's not in it. He's going to drop to double lift. Shrimp is forced to back out. The chrono shift is, going to proc in time. And meanwhile, Apollo is forced to flash the wall. Shrimp, though, will go down to Bjergsen.
Once again, TSM with an outplay here. They collapse into their own jungle, and that teleport timed with that Bard stun right onto the same ward, or the wall and the ward right next to each other. Another bunch of kills here for TSM, starting to run away with the gold lead. And the turrets, again, the outer turrets are pretty weak, so they might be soon to follow. This is going to be another bush play attempted, possibly from the TSM duo. They get a little bit impatient, don't want to wait around.
Yeah, looks like they're just going to play it safe instead. Apollo charges forward. He's got the arrow, but Doublelift knows it. Holds on to his dash and decides not to overextend for it, and Apollo just takes a bit of damage. And everybody continues to farm it out. Shrimp is actually, Ray, excuse me, is on his way towards that top side of the map. But there's so much vision from TSM. They've got to make sure that this is clean.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to, make moves like this if you...
There's the arrow. He gets the turret. Ray
They're
pops the
gonna
wall.
get it.
Ray is going to chase from the bottom. Tempered Fate misses. There's the flash, and Biofrost is caught. He's going to be gifted over to Apollo, and Ray's not done just yet. There he goes. Now he's done.
Okay, there's still fighting going on the top side, though.
Yeah, there
Shrimp
really is.
going in on Sven.
Keen takes a lot of damage as Svenskeren and Bjergsen trade it back. Try to collapse on Apex as they're heading towards the top lane, but they don't get any kills.
Yeah, they defend the flank here of the three people who were diving on the duo lane. Apex do get the kill and successful extraction mission as well. Desperate teleport here to try and save the turret. I don't know if it's going to work, though. I don't think so.
Barely misses the minions, and unfortunately it's not enough. The turret goes down, and Bjergsen says, "This was yours? No, this is mine now."
Classic Bjergsen versus Keen.
Yeah.
Stealing the Urgot counter, stealing his mid turret.
And the Zillion.
True enough.
Oh, man.
And
it
his
all
blue
comes
buff
back.
too.
Oh.
All your base belongs to me. That was close enough. All right, but TSM, I have to say the one consistent thing that's been throughout almost entirety of the last 20 minutes has been the ward control for them. And they've really had the first step here on Apex. This Dragon, or Drake as well, is going to go over to them. And the vision game has been very top-centric for Apex, and that has not paid off. They weren't able to make the early moves up top work, and the late moves here haven't worked either because, I guess they get this kill, but it's the extended chase that does get turned around. So here it is, the kill onto Biofrost. He's going to take that fish for Doublelift. What a support. And there's going to be that kill. Doublelift does end up getting away, but you know what happens afterwards. Oh my goodness,
Wow.
It's a very, very early Baron. That's going to deal a lot of damage. You don't have anyone strong tanking it.
In vision as
So
well.
you're going to have to run.
Apex back
Here comes
away.
Bard. Bard can pick somebody off.
Svenskeren gets the knock-up onto Ray, but he hops over the wall. There's a chilling smite. Culling is going to do some good damage. Oh, there's the chrono shift. Ray doesn't have his flash. The Never Move is not going to be able to lock him down. Yeah, TSM extend forward, and they're able to burn a few big abilities, but now they might be looking for this tier 2.
Yep, they've got the minion waves moving up the mid lane. Svenskeren taking a little bit of damage, but I think TSM can actually just take this time to shore up that vision game on the top side. There's a few wards that Apex were able to get down there in the meantime. They might want to clean that up a little bit. There goes one, Double takes out. But they need True Sight for that extra line.
Once again, the vision for TSM is just so strong. Sightstone first on Svenskeren. Just patrolling the map left and right. Keep an eye on Shrimp. Keep an eye on potential gank paths. Bjergsen Doublelift. Oh, man! Bjergsen is able to land it. There's the chrono shift on cooldown, but there are 4 members of TSM. He flashes, and he's in fact going to be able to make it out. Double bomb onto Doublelift. Is it going to be enough to kill him? I'm not quite sure. Yes, Keen is going to get it. There's the Never Move, and Shrimp drops the respite. Apex are able to turn this around and get out. Oh, except for Apollo.
Yeah, he was at the back too. He didn't notice that sneaky little soldier. I guess he blended in with the background there. Bjergsen's got these secret agent soldiers for his ear. And they take down Apollo. That's a really big kill actually, because that allows TSM to make this transition up to top side, and that might be the last outer turret for them. Apex looking to try and cut off Bjergsen though.
Yeah, Svenskeren trying to run bodyguard, keep Apex off the turrets. Ray rushes forward, and yes, it looks like TSM are going to have to back away. Ray gets caught by a snare. Never Move is going to find Shrimp, as that's actually the Tempered Fate. Svenskeren looks to dive, flash by Shrimp. Ray is trying to shred through Hunter, but he's already got a Zonius. There's a chrono shift onto Ray. Will he be able to come back up and look for another one? No, the journey out to safety.
Biofrost with the escape hatch, magical journey, everyone out the backside. Mission aborted, and everyone was able to live as well. Woo.
Yeah, so before this game, we were talking a lot about how TSM have the fastest win time right now in the NALCS. Well, this game, they're taking a much slower pace.
Yeah, they do have about 6 minutes or so to get that average time. Here comes the Bjergsen play, though. Isolating Keen. He does have flash for right when he gets back up, and the rest of the time, the rest of the team was able to join in that time, but Bjergsen, as we said, or Doublelift got double bombed, and he's out. Let's take a look at Apollo's positioning here. Where does the soldier hide? It looks like he's hovering on the edge, and then he just walks into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that soldier just hiding in plain sight, standing still. Apollo can't see you if you stand still.
Little known fact, Apollo is a T-Rex.
Yep.
Can't see if it can't move. Sunscare now going to clear out the Scuttle Crab as APX 4,000 gold behind TSM, but even in kills as TSM are continuing to encroach on Apex's territory, trying to make these plays happen more and more.
Well, they return to the top side, and finally they will be able to knock down that turret. There's the extra gold they're looking for, as well as the ability, the crucial ability to move their ward lineup all the way through both quadrants of Apex jungle. TSM, they've been at the walls here as far as Apex territory, and now they can move in. They can try and bait this Baron. Pink ward inside will allow them. It kind of forces the move here from Apex.
Yeah, they're trying to sneak it right now. Doesn't look, yeah, it's just spotted out by Apollo. Here comes the rest of Apex. Spray has his teleport as well. Arrow is going to find Doublelift, but there's no follow-up. The rest of TSM turn on to Keen. There's a tempered fate, and TSM have found an amazing fight. Keen on top of the rest, but Ray doesn't even hop over the wall. They clean up one. Now that's two. Ray is in the back, but there's no one that he can turn onto as TSM might have been off the, there they go. Finally able to drop Apollo and X Special. This is a surgical cleanup, and Bjergsen gets a solo kill onto Ray.
What a tragedy for Apex there. Oh my goodness, they were split, and Biofrost has a great Bard ultimate. Pretty big pick there for TSM on Keen at the same time, and that was very, very clean. That might be them pushing towards that average game time, Dom.
Yeah.
Trying to hit that almost 34-minute mark, but boom, there it is. They go in on Keen at the same time, trap both Apollo and Shrimp. Then there's no escaping from this, because TSM, they're all together. That team fight is so, I don't know, it's just clean from them. They're all right next to each other, and Apex are the ones that are split up. Ray's bouncing around the backside, and they cannot recover from it.
Yeah, just a little bit too slow from Apex to really recover and catch. Now with the Baron buff, Bjergsen once again going to steal away Keen's blue buff. Oh, Svenskaren got the auto attack.
That's one of those things where it's a very rare that I side against the jungler, but you're a full damage Rek'Sai. You're not helping, but continuing to attack that blue buff. Bjergsen on the Azir at this point is like, pretty sure I got this taken care of.
Yeah.
Just stand there, bud. I don't need your auto attack that has no extra attack damage on it. Yeah.
Okay, so Ocean Drake just got secured by TSM. That is, oh no, that was a Cloud Drake. Secured by TSM. And now TSM are going to shove down the mid lane. This tier 2 turret is destroyed. They've got 3 minutes now to try to end the game, to hit that average game time before
they bring shame onto the TSM family name.
Well, they're doing pretty well so far. 2 tier 2 turrets have gone, and they got that third dragon.
Well, remember also, that's just the average game time that they had. So they had games above that time. Looking to lower it here, though, as they've got 2 lanes pushed up with Baron buff. They even sent Haunter back with teleport, so it's going to clean up the 3rd lane as well. 3 lanes of income. They're also pressuring inhibitor turrets. Huge gold lead, so barring a very, very big mistake from TSM, Apex actually need to just go for, you know, some Hail Mary move, all in kind of. Ash Arrow, first person they see, and just try and all mob on Bjergsen or something.
Yeah, Apollo's been landing some good arrows onto Doublelift this entire game, pretty much through TSM's team fight. So the question is, can he find Doublelift? Can he find Bjergsen before TSM take all of the tier 2 turrets? 2 of them are down. The 3rd one's about to fall. There is no answer for Apex so far. 32 minutes in, got a minute and 30 seconds for TSM to try to push forward. It might be the Hail Mary that gives TSM that average game.
Well, they've got a lot of wards behind them. Look at how ridiculous it is on the bottom quadrant. They see Ray doing the Gromp. So even if Ray started channeling teleport, they'd be all right with it.
Oh, Tempered Fate finds Apollo. He's got no summoner spells. There's a Chrono Shift to keep him alive. And Hanser going to continue zoning forward. Apollo goes dead. There goes the Lamb's Respite. And almost on the clock, TSM turn it on. Bjergsen gets a double kill. They're going to zone the rest. A huge bomb from Keen is enough to buy some time as Ray and Keen run into the base. Bjergsen with a triple kill in the fountain. But TSM have got a wave of minions. They've still got the Baron buff. They're going to look to take this game against Apex.
TSM looking pretty hot right now, Dom. This game over under the average game time. Congratulations. They lower it by a few seconds, and they take down Apex in the first game. This is a best of 3, though. Remember.
Yeah.
New North American LCS, we'll go best of 3s for everybody. So Apex, they still have a chance to turn this around, regroup after the first game, and try and come back with a new strategy in game 2.
Yeah, we did see them adapt yesterday against Envy in their game 2, so we'll see if they can pull it out once again, as right now TSM undefeated 5 games in a row, 5 wins in a row in the North American LCS.
Purely undefeated.
Yes.
Right, not just the series play, in match play as
Yeah.
well. Definitely looking very good at the start of this season.
Yeah, very strong performance from TSM. And, you know, they took their time. They were so patient. I got to admit, I was concerned that they were going to go over their average game time. And then they got to the 29-minute mark, and they were like, oh, wait, we got to hit this number. And then they did. It was so clean.
Well done. You reminded them.
I did. But Apex, on the other hand, they have their work cut out for them. How can they possibly adapt against a team that hasn't lost? We haven't seen a lot of weaknesses from TSM.
That's what people are saying last split against Immortals. And it took many, many weeks, maybe week 7 or 8 or something, for CLG to actually finally take a game off them. Now we kind of have to watch the same thing with TSM. How long will it be before some team takes a game off of TSM? As of right now, Apex, you could see kind of their play style, you know, the decision making there. They had a lot of wards on top. They obviously wanted to play around top, but they could not convert on the all or nothing here. You know, it's a melee champion versus Swain. Swain's going to bully him if they're left alone, and they try and get some jungler intervention to, you know, get some power on that side of the map. But after that was stopped by TSM, it was pretty good counter movements from TSM on almost all of the initiations from Apex.
Yeah, TSM moved pretty safe throughout that mid game, but now TSM wins in a big way after a series of huge team fights. To catch us up on all of the LCS big plays from game 1, we're going to toss it down to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Dom. TSM still hot on their run as they were from the start of the split, taking a game off of Apex here to start their series strong in a relatively quick fashion. So let's dive into this because, Crumbs, you were saying that, at least through the early game, that this game was playing out pretty much exactly how you expected it. Even bot lane, and then leads in the mid and the top lane for TSM.
Yeah, you saw Ray really struggling in the matchup against Swain. Swain has a lot of harass in lane with the Deathfire touch, with the bird harass, and he was forced to use TP over and over to get back into the lane. And it was only until like the level 8 or level 9 where they actually able to find the kill on top. But by that point, it was already too late. That lane was already a little bit too snowball, and we just saw Apex, and they're getting a little bit desperate in terms of trying to make too many plays on the map to combat that, because it wasn't that they would just necessarily get outscaled. It was that they just fell under heavy pressure just because of the way the lanes were going.
I think a lot of that, too, was Hanser's playing extremely well and communicating to Sven when he needed and what he needed. Because, like, he froze the wave back very intelligently. He had it with him the whole time. He gets a buy-off with the wave in front of him, and it starts going back towards Ray. And right then, that's like a time where the Swain will be very exposed, and he has Sven come up and cover him. And you see both junglers kind of see each other, like he just Sven shoots like a little, you know, prey seeker at him, and they both back off. And that's exactly what he needed. He doesn't need a gank. He doesn't need pressure. He just needs to make sure this wave gets in the turret and comes back to him. And then he froze it again for like another couple minutes. And that's when finally you see, you know, Shrimp go up there and pick up a kill. But by that point, it's like a 46 CS differential. So
Exactly, yeah, 30 to 40 CS differential before Shrimp comes up. Does manage to get that first blood for Ray. So again, Apex kind of following that trend of trying to put Ray in a position to be a split push threat. And you would think that on the likes of Fizz, which we've seen some massive performances out of him already this split on that champion, that maybe he could have gotten there. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. And this is where I kind of want to readdress your point, Crumbs, that you were making, where Apex, they started to look flustered. They started to play with desperation when, in all reality, they probably didn't need to. They just needed to play a little bit more smartly and calmly. And a pretty good example of that, 26 minutes into the game, we see a 1-for-1 trade in the mid lane in which Apex, they probably could have come out ahead with 1-0, but Apollo getting picked off at the end will roll that out and kind of illustrate that Apex wasn't in as bad of a spot as maybe they thought they were.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this fight just starts by Bjergsen playing the assassin Azir, trying to go for the pickoff. And I mean, at this point, they're already out. They can just kill, double lift, and get out. And you get the TP out as well. So you get the TP advantage. All they have to do is just back off. You now have a TP advantage. And, you know, they just keep going and going. There's really no need for them to do this. So just really understanding that they've got an advantage and playing with it. Because the way the TSM was playing the laning phases, they were winning top, they were winning middle, bot lane was even. So they were putting all their efforts into making sure that bot lane would be winning. Lots of ganks from Sven. But Apex had double TP. You guys can make these advantages in the bot side as well. And I was kind of hoping that we'd see some more aggressive arrows in the bot side as opposed to just throwing them out every time Sven Scaring came to gank. So I would have liked to see more aggressive TP usage from them.
you kind of saw strength of the comp there, where you think King gets caught out, you think, oh, this guy's totally dead, but he gets a res, and then he flashes out, and then you have a Kindred ult come in, and then they have so many tools to like extend these fights. Fizz can go untargetable for a little bit, and so that's, you know, what Crumbs was talking about when you say their comp's going to be fine, because they have such extended fights, they scale well, but they ultimately gave up that Baron in that fight. So
let's jump to that fight. 29 minutes in, TSM starting off the Baron. Apex feeling, again, rushed and desperate that they have to make a play. They throw the Ash Arrow in, and unfortunately, Ray, pretty slow on the uptake here, doesn't TP in until too late, fails his jump over the wall, so a little bit of a disaster in that regard. But it still did feel, again, like a forced situation for Apex. This was not necessary. They could have slowly contested, more smartly contested that Baron instead of picking the fight with the Ash Arrow.
So as soon as Apex approached that fight, TSM started to pull back from the Baron, because TSM's not a team that's going to try to put you in a 50-50 Baron situation. They'll try to outsmart you, but they're not going to go for that sheer mechanical outplay where they can just throw the game out. That's not what we've seen from them at all. So just making them back off is what Apex should be content with, but unfortunately they pull the trigger a little bit too much and they get collapsed for it. So just too overzealous. They just got to keep calm-headed and they'll be fine.
I think that's why you saw Ray late on that TP, because I think he knew he didn't want to really contest that. He wanted to stay bottom, split pushing, and hopefully like take a turret and punish them for not being decisive. I'd punish TSM, but then TSM gets that really clean turn. The Bard ult hits people who have flashed up. You can argue maybe they should have flashed that, but Keen was already caught, so you know, they were in a tough spot.
Very tough spot. And of course, you have to give credit where credit's due. This is because TSM did create those early leads, especially in the solo lanes. Bjergsen, in particular, player of the game here on that Azir. You mentioned that first replay we saw, kind of playing that assassin Azir, looking to make plays, looking to create chaos, and give himself some advantages in DPS. But it was those solo laners. It is TSM that put Apex in the position that they felt they had to make those desperate plays to get back into the game.
Yeah, a lot of solo pressure created by Bjerg. We talked a little bit about how Hansers had the support of Sven. Most of what Bjerg was doing was just solo pressure. Yeah. He was up a bunch of CS over Keen, so it was a really impressive performance by him, and he had a huge impact in the team fights.
He's already established himself as like the best mid laner in NA, so keeping this guy down is really difficult. You know, wide champion pool, lots of counter picks, and it's shown that he can either play with a style where all his team is there to help them, or he can just play the solo matchups and doesn't need anybody to help him out. So it's nice to see a lot of variety from TSM's play styles in the past couple of games.
For sure, this was definitely a different style game from what we had seen, where they, you know, Bjergsen has this pressure and then they all show up mid. They're against a Kindred and a Zillion, so it's really hard to convert any mid pressure into dives. So they don't do that. They go do other things in the sideways, which is really impressive to see from a team shot calling perspective.
Yeah, TSM overall looking very impressive so far this split. Apex still has some chances to rebound though in this series. Real quick update, the C9 game happening on the other stream against Phoenix 1 out to a 4K gold lead at 20 minutes, which comes from 3 kills as well as a slight turret advantage. So if you want to check that one out, go ahead and pop over to that stream. We're of course going to take a quick break while TSM and Apex refuel for game 2 of this series. We'll be right back.
I can already see Kevin Sysage interview. The thing about this match is that it was really exciting to play.
Oh, they're going to go
back
back
up.
in. There's a flash from Shrimp, and Haunter is first blooded by Ray. Apex might have gone too deep. There goes the rest of it. Ray's not in it. He's going to drop to double it.
I'm a combat. Keep going, keep going.
I'm Richard Brick, but I'm low.
Nice. All right, let's
Go back.
Nice.
And they take down Apex in the first game.
Welcome back to our coverage of this series between TSM and Apex. Game 1 started a little slow, but exploded in the mid-game when team fights broke out, resulting in a decisive TSM victory.
Haha! Yes, very decisive. TSM look really clean right now. I'm probably going to use that word too much for them because they're just haven't dropped a game yet. They're sparkling. But Apex, they kind of tried to play around the top lane. We could see what they were trying to do. They had most of their wards up there. They had around the Fizz, a couple visits from Shrimp. It did not work out for them, and that's actually a pretty risky strategy, to play off of just an assassin like that. But that's the only area they've really been finding success is when Ray has some really big carry performances for them. And it's going to take something else here to beat TSM because TSM are looking like the most well-rounded team in the North American LCS.
Yeah, and in addition to that, the fact that they were able to play so well and, as you said, so clean, that made it remarkably difficult to call a specific player of the game because everyone for TSM looked sharp and well refined in their role.
Definitely. We had really strong performances from Hanser, Bjergsen, Biofrost in the bottom lane, Doublelift as well, and Svenskeren. So pretty much across the board, as we said, that's why they look like the best, most well-rounded team so far, in addition to remaining undefeated in both match and series play. Right now, though, APX looking to crack that. And this is a team. APX are a team. They've got the 10-man roster. They also have Keen. They have all these wild picks they can pull out. So this is a team that can throw you a curveball. This is a team that can surprise you, try and pull out some different either strategy or specific lane matchup as well.
Yeah, and a bit of the concern is that we really haven't seen them adapt too much outside of playing that sort of Ray-centric play style. And sure, it works for teams with sort of weaker top lanes, but now they're up against the undefeated TSM. They've already dropped their first game. They've seen that a Ray-centric play style doesn't work. It's now or never for them to show that they can adapt and play with something different.
Yeah, I mean, if they they have to win this game to force to game 3. So now or never is true. They do, however, later in the season get another shot at it.
They have more games than it's not the end of the season. I should qualify that just a little bit.
I'm curious, though. Every time we head into an Apex Champion Select, I'm a little bit curious and a little bit hopeful that we see something like a Vel'Koz or an Alawi pop out of here because there's a lot of potential there.
That seems like that would be a Ray-style pick. He's got the Jarvan. He's already got a fantastic Riven that he's got in his pocket, so we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But again, picks and bans for Apex versus TSM. LeBlanc banned away from Bjergsen. Vladimir banned away from Apex. So again, just hitting those S-tier picks. And Azir banned away from Bjergsen as well.
Yeah, Azir off the table. Okay, that probably means they're not going to have a surprise Vel'Koz pick in their repertoire then. So close the door on that one, but everything else pretty much wide open. Vladimir, Ryze, pretty similar band so far. They don't want to let Hanser have that Swain. However, Hanser is a really big fan of Aurelia as well as even still Echo. I mean, Echo did get nerfs, but still decent. So curious to see if we'll ever see him pop back up.
Yeah, we saw it hovered by both of the top laners. We know they both play this Echo, so that could be a potential pick that we see them sort of flex around. Caitlyn is going to be the last ban. Once again, keep Apollo off of that safe 80 carry. Now it's up to the first pick for Apex. There's the Aurelia hover. We were just talking about it.
Yeah, early Aurelia picks should be common. I think they'll become more common because she has a lot of really good matchups. It's hard to counter pick her. But it's going to be that jungle focus, no Nidalee on the ban list. There she is. Shrimp going to take that one up pretty quickly. I'm actually a bit surprised because for me, the first pick, Nidalee, has really dropped down in priority. After not only the nerfs to her, but also Rek'Sai fills a really good space right now, I feel like. And if you have a full tank Rek'Sai, it does your job for vision as well as the early pressure that you want, and then also enables your top laner to go really hard on either solo 1v1 builds or some sort of other damage aspect from the top side. But if Nidalee is going to be your jungler, you might have to be a little bit more conservative.
Yeah, this sort of gives us a bit of insight into how Apex are going to plan to play with Ray. The fact that they do have the high damage Nidalee might mean that Ray will have to take something a little tanky to sort of go with
cats and dogs.
Yeah.
No. Naxxus,
currently.
That would be sick, but not going to happen probably. Kindred also not going to happen because they already have a jungler, but we didn't really mention the Karma pickup here. Steal away. Going to take away Xpecial's Karma for Biofrost. He's also had success on this champion. We talked about his Bard previously, but Karma was also strong. Pretty easy to execute as well, the Karma. Definitely lower skill cap than Bard.
Yeah, once again, the priority in bot lane. Good engage, good in team fights, good peel for that Ashe.
And again, this theme that we've been bringing up of a lot more utility from the bottom lanes showing up here for Apex. We'll see if Apollo can fire off more arrows early on in the game maybe, or if the team actually can try and play around those arrows and actually look for the picks and get into position to capitalize on some mid-game arrow pickoffs. Plus, obviously, the Braum is going to add some extra disengage as well.
Yeah, he did land a lot of arrows in the previous game. Specifically
hit
on
Doublelift a couple times.
Yeah, so on that same Lucian as well. We'll see how that works out as TSM are looking for their next 2 picks. They already know they've got to go up against the just as mobile as Kindred Nidalee for Shrimp. But Victor is going to be locked in for Bjergsen. Not going to save that counter pick for Bjergsen. Instead, they're giving it over to Hanser.
Yeah, I mean, Victor, really easy blind pick for mid, so they'd rather have Hanser be the counter here, show top lane first. They're forcing Apex to show their top lane now, and allow Hanser to actually get an advantage in this matchup versus Ray. Let us see. What shall it be? Because they've got such a rounded team comp already, you know, with the utility from bottom lane. Kennan's a pretty good hover right now. You know, did get some buffs in the mage rework that haven't really talked about since he hasn't been picked up. But he did get slight nerfs. Doubt he'll be locked in here, though. You know, might be something more along the lines of maybe Ray's Shen that they showed earlier. They want to make another go at that, but it looks like they would lack some damage in that case.
From one ninja to another, but in fact, it's going to be ninja to troll. Trundle locked in the top lane for Ray, and Keen returning to that Zillion.
All right. So they're definitely going to have a lot of pressure in the top side, no matter what matchup. Talk about blind picked champions here. Trundle's fine into most melees. Actually, all melees. I'll go ahead and say that. Absolute. Can throw him a curveball there, though, every once in a while if you get in a ranged champion and try and apply some jungle pressure to try and abuse him. If you do get the first blood on him, if you do get a splash down in an early gank, then try and mess with him a little bit more.
Yeah, what's the good of Subjugate if there isn't a tank to shred?
We'll follow a king that gave up first blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Not high.
Okay.
All right, no surprises, though. Back to the standard. Ray Fizz, it looks like.
Well, Hanser's going to be taking it this time.
Oh, whoa. Reversed. Not the
Yeah.
standard.
They did swap sides, Kobe. I know
Alright.
they're still sitting in the same seats on stage, but in-game
Good
we're
enough.
swapping over.
All right, well, Fizz is one of those melee champions. Isn't going to have as hard a time, but I still give the edge to Trundle here, so maybe there'll be a lane swap even looking around.
Yeah, we'll have to see. The Lucian Karma of very strong lane, and we actually saw the Ashe Braum played earlier today into, I believe it was Karma and Sivir, which was very harass-oriented, so all game Keith just had to run around and avoid the harass that he was going to be taking from that duo lane, so lane swap could be very strong. And Apex looking to crack the impenetrable shell of TSM's win streak.
Who will be the first to take a game off of the new squad? Again, really big discrepancy that's going to jump out, you know, is going to be the mid lane teleport. Bjergsen on the Victor. He's facing a lot of crowd control. The Ashe on the other team is very scary, so probably take cleanse on that mid lane Victor, which does open up, you know, Ashe arrow plus double teleports for your team. Crumbs mentioned on the analyst desk, you know, these are tools you can use to try and make some of those mid-game plays cross map and, you know, get an advantage for yourself.
Yeah, stack a Braum in there for more CC, but make your voice heard on Twitter. Tell us who you think is going to win this game right here using hashtag APXWin or TSM win as we get ready to go into game number 2. TSM 5-0 in games, currently 2-0 in matches, looking to make it 3-0 as they take us onto the Rift. Will Apex be the first team to take a win off of TSM, or will TSM continue to dominate the NALCS?
For a whole 2 weeks.
Yeah,
What a streak.
it's still a domination.
All right, well, invade here. Looks like it's brewing for Apex as they're congregating mid lane. They do have Braum, so anytime enemy team has Braum, you best respect. Nice. Animation canceled there. Shrimp gets the kill. Ray has a giggle.
Yep. He's
And,
just having a jaunt.
They are going to get the deep wards down here for that lane swap.
Wow, Ray is very bold. And Hanser, in fact, is going to recall. Deep wards for TSM on bottom side. Apex have got deep wards on the top. And currently, Ray is actually headed down towards the bottom side.
Yeah, got to be careful here. Playing with fire, Lucian Karma lane is very, very oppressive. especially if you make a wrong turn early game in the jungle, level 1. You even just one mantra Q before minions spawn, and combo there from double lift is a huge chunk. So they have to be careful while also trying to feel out the early game movements. Nobody going down towards the bottom lane though, so double lift and Battle Crash will find themselves in the lane swap, and they won't really get to go aggressive early. Just take away the enemy Krugs, which is slightly aggressive, I guess. Count it for the TSM duo.
More golden experience, while TSM are going to go with a double jungle as well. And that means that Apollo and Xpecial are going to be safe in this laning phase. Ray, in fact, is actually going to head down towards the bottom to catch up with that duo, whereas, excuse me, Haunter. I see the Viz and I assume, yeah.
He's not yellow, though.
Yeah, oh, you're right. Whereas Ray and now Shrimp are going to head towards that lane swap and look for those early turrets. Svenskeren, though, is going to get a few more camps across as well.
Yep, pretty standard here from both sides. Then going to move down through red, join up with everybody else. Mid laners both hovering, as you can see, to their respective sides of the mid lane that are controlled by their lane swaps. Keen on top side where everybody is. Bjergsen going to hover bottom, so I don't think there'll be any early ganks on mid lane, and it's the fight over minion wave clear. Currently Keen dominating that matchup with bombs.
Yeah, red buff is secured by both of the junglers as Double Lift and Biofrost continue to look to break down that tier 1, so
there's a small interesting wrinkle in this lane swap in that the Infernal Drake is the first Drake right out of the gate, and it might encourage them to actually go for an early Drake because people are so enamored with the Infernal Drake, and it looks like they are going to spend a lot of time going for it. Apex actually are the team that loves Rift Herald buff the most though, so they might try and get over there for the spawn of it. Keen also knows about this dragon now, trying to zone them off, and the Infernal Drake doing that large amount of splash damage chases TSM off, so good stop there from Apex.
Keen is able to scare away TSM as Shrimp, in fact, invades Svenskeren.
Telling you, people are a little bit greedy when they see that Infernal Drake. Oh, Shrimp got it with the auto, didn't even have to smite.
So close.
Is that Infernal Drake greed gonna cost him his life too? No, just a bit of his jungle, but that is 2 camps out of the jungle, unless Double Lift gets down here to defend the wolves. Shrimp now has smite, so gonna be able to get that one also.
Double Lift is going to clear out one, and Xpecial is over the wall, so could be able to hop to Shrimp's aid if necessary, but Apex are able to respond appropriately and scare T away from that early objective. Standard masteries all across the board.
Yeah, pretty standard. I guess for Fizz, the Fervor is now standard. Grass, I mean, there may be a matchup where you want to take Grass for the extra healing, just trying to sustain through it, but for the most part, that Fervor especially going to allow you for the late game team fights to still destroy the backline, even with mostly tank build. So yeah, that's really been emerging with those nerfs to Grasp as also huge top lane popularity.
We'll see if Haunter decides to follow with the same Trinity Force double stun in the mid lane as everyone continues to play nice and calm. Keen, you can see the player portrait. He playing with his, what is that, his right leg up?
I mean, he's gonna have, Ray's gonna have both legs up here when the Rek'Sai knocks him up. And
there's first blood for Svenskeren. TSM gank top. Ray already being shut down. So TSM already looking to play a little bit differently. You can see 2 wards on the top side of the map.
Well, I mean, kind of glossing over how that whole setup there, big wave getting shoved in, low health Trundle as well. That's definitely a big oversight here from Apex, and Svenskeren coming up for a very nice dive. Pretty big for TSM because, Ray is the guy they want to play around, and Apex before that had been doing really well. They're still in the gold lead, because of the early game. Even after the first blood money goes over to TSM. So that was actually a crucial play for TSM. As we see the recall from Nidalee, and Ray takes a huge chunk in that trade with Hanser. Huge! Look how many ranged minions there are. Almost double digits of ranged minions, plus the cannon really did a lot to him. And then they go for the blind dive. It's actually kind of a risky dive because they hadn't seen Nidalee. And it does pay off for TSM to get them right back into this game.
Yeah, it looks like Shrimp has been hard farming the rest of the time. Currently level 6, nearly 20 CS ahead of Svenskeren, but that first blood is going to help Hanser in that matchup against Ray, as there's the harass bottom lane from Biofrost and Doublelift. Continuing to farm it out, while blue buff is gifted over to Bjergsen in the mid lane. He's going to go catch up with Keith.
Yeah, give him over the blue buff once again. But yeah, I mean,
they're going to fight over this. There's the Chaos Storm onto Shrimp. He is taking a lot of damage. There's the Chrono Shift.
That's going to time out, buddy. You are in a very...
Oh, he doesn't make it over the wall.
Not today, my friend. Pretty costly mistake there.
Hanser's looking for another kill to add to his belt. Now looks for Ray. Some good damage. Damage amplification has fallen off, but Ray is healing up nice and slow.
Yeah.
He's got flash as well, and Ray is going to be solo killed by Hanser.
TSM strikes back. They had a little bit of a hole to climb out of because of their Infernal Drake greed, but the mistake there from Apex up top side, and then in the jungle, invade, just kind of snowballs against them, and TSM take control in a very big way now. 2 mistakes cross map here, and Shrimp goes super greedy for this blue. All-ins to steal it away, and then flash face plant into the wall. Feels bad, man.
8.5 minutes in, TSM have already got 3 kills. As Svenskeren responding appropriately in the top lane and in his own jungle with double blue control for TSM.
I feel like they still had their eyes on that Infernal Drake too. TSM like, all right, we're gonna be on next time now. We got a couple of kills. We're trying to beat back Apex and regain control. Ray is in a really bad spot. Hanser almost coming back up. Oh man, Svenskeren's actually recalling. Doesn't even want to go for it. He could just straight run through that pink ward. Like, if Hanser just lands point blank ultimate on him, they could have just closed that. But yeah, they had to wait another, 15 seconds on Hanser's ultimate to come off cooldown, and that's too much time for Sven.
Yeah,
got moves to make. I'm out of here. Gonna go cross map, continue my farming on Rek'Sai, get back in this. Got those 2 kills to catch it back up.
He's got a tunnel up there, and he's on his way. Ray is going to eat 1 big burst of damage. Here comes Svenskeren, still no flash. And Ray, despite the subjugate, is going to drop another kill for TSM.
Yeah, see, you could have, Svenskeren could have just walked that way and done it, and then use his ultimate down to the bottom side where he can continue farming, but he's just on that farm mode, and then Hanser makes the call probably. He's like, this guy is in my zone. We can kill him so easily. Point blank ultimate, back off cooldown, and he's toast. Who will TSM close on next? Because they're looking like they do not want to lose a single game here. Shrimp now cornered. He might be the one next marked for death.
Yeah, there's going to be a knock-up. Bjergsen right on top of him. Drops the Chaos Storm onto Keen. There's the Chrono Shift onto Shrimp. He's going to be locked down. Biofrost is getting ready for the snare. There's the knock-up. Bjergsen gets the 5th kill for TSM.
TSM, 5-man mid. There's the Infernal Drake reward. They will finally get it. Started off at like 3 minutes to come back to finish the job.
Took 7 minutes and 5 kills, but they finally have earned themselves that Infernal Drake.
Have they, though? The volley steal from Apollo incoming? No.
Let's not get too overexcited now.
Well, it's not much else for Apex to get excited about, because Ray on Trundle getting blasted is a very bad sign. That's all that Trundle does, is go solo lane up there. If the Viz has advantage, then it's going to be rough going for him. Shrimp, though, on the wrong side. Teleport did cut him off, and Bjergsen tries to go for the double kill here because Keen uses the ultimate early on Shrimp, but Keen's able to walk himself away, and it's just going to be that one kill. TSM, though, very, very handily in control of this game. Inferno Drake's the best Drake for snowballing a game where you already have a lead. They earn themselves that lead. There's the Drake. Next one coming up is actually going to be a Mountain, and that's really good for finishing out games. So.
Yeah. TSM right now have got everything going their way.
Good.
5-0. They might be losing this bottom tier 1, though.
Yeah.
They decide to trade for the top.
Good call there from Apex. You don't want to fight anymore. Start trading objectives. You know, get some of that mid-game gold for everybody. Try and hit it. First item breakpoint is what you're looking for. Nobody even really has completed anything except for Keen here. So trying to just stall out a little bit now for Apex. They're not that far behind. We make it sound really, really bad. After this turret does go down in answer, it's going to be, you know, about 2,000 gold. But man, Apex, they can't afford to lose much more. They're going to need to make a big Ash Arrow play.
Trying to make a play on the bottom side right now. Special is going to eat Chum the Waters and take a lot of damage. Arrow finds Honsers. It seems like Apex might want to try to turn this around. Spear brings him to half.
This is TSM defending, though, with double lift split push farming. He's able to get free minions down bottom, or up top, I guess. Plus is going to be able to take out this turret, so TSM defend their secondary. Double lifts down there. He's going to be able to put some damage on it. I think they're going to lose sight, and he might have to back off before killing it, but...
Oh, Special eats a chilling smite. He's got exhaust and is able to hop to safety. Bit of a greedy recall, but he still escapes, and now TSM might be looking to collapse mid. Erickson pressuring forward along with Svenskeren and Biofrost. Instead, they're just going to try to deny Shrimp's jungle a bit.
Yeah, on the other side, Double Lift is also stealing away the blue buff on the Lucian. So cooldown reduction, a bunch of mana as well for the semi-spellcaster. AD carry here feels pretty good. Can he finish it though?
Oh, Shrimp is right there in the spear. Bjergsen is the one who's going to finish it off. Double Lift
nice
looks to
guy.
complete his recall.
Hands it over to the mid laner. What a team player, that Double Lift guy. Hands it right off. And TSM, there's Ghostblade for him, so they're hitting the item points as well that they can really push this home.
Yeah, this is a very swift game from TSM. Smite used by Shrimp to secure away that Raptor camp.
Dangerous game here, sticking around this red buff. I think Svenskeren, you know, they saw the Warden here. He's baiting them to come try and counter this red buff here, because all of TSM are in position to collapse. And Apex don't take the bait. They semi-take the bait,
Yeah.
and Special at least.
He's gonna have to run out of this. An arrow finds Svenskeren. The volley slows a bit. Special takes a lot more. He's gonna go down to Double Lift.
Yeah.
The 6th kill for TSM.
They still got 2 more they're chasing. Looking to head him off here. It's just an Ashe. She does have flash.
Yeah, Svenskeren decides to let her go. All right, 14 and a half minutes in. TSM, you know, you used the word earlier in the game. They look so clean in this match. Just controlling just about every single lane. Controlling the jungle, preventing Apex from really doing anything to get back into this.
Yep, conveniently start up the Rift Herald. Oops, Haunter's like, I aggroed Rift Herald, better kill it, guys. Give me that buff. And that's just going to further spell doom for this Trundle. 0-3 Ray Trundle versus the Sunfire completed already for Haunter. He's got the extra level on him, and it's really easy for Fizz to all in with the mobility that he has around this point as well. So pretty difficult situation for Apex, where they can't rely on their split push threat. They kind of have to put everything on an Ashe Arrow pick now at this point, and bursting someone down before the rest of TSM show up. They really need to isolate somebody, kill them, and then get right back out. They can't overstay after they catch somebody either.
Yeah, right now Apollo catching minions in the mid lane while Keen goes for a recall. That's going to leave Haunter split pushing in the top lane while Apex try to get that Ashe more gold, get more damage so that the arrow can buy time for the rest of Apex. 40 seconds now for that Mountain Drake. Second of the game, and Apex are contesting vision around the area. Double Lift is already down there, and TSM, well in advance, are collapsing.
They do have some wards they've been able to move in, but I feel like taking a fight at this point is going to be very detrimental to your team health. TSM are significantly ahead. Plus, they have the speed to chase down.
Yeah, Shrimp forced to flash away.
That's going to reduce the probability of an Apex Dragon steal as well, because Shrimp can't jump in there and try to flash out. So TSM chase them off despite the decent amount of vision work.
Oh, there's the arrow, but it's well in the back line. Bjergsen's going to eat the damage.
All right, no flash on our jungler, no arrow from the Ashe. I think you can see this one. It's just a Mountain Drake. That's not really a good comeback Drake, so TSM probably racked this one up free.
Yeah, they have now started it. Recall being initiated by Hanser. He's going to try to catch Ray, who's been split pushing in the top lane.
They're making a move. I mean, Apex are trying it for a cross-map move. Everybody's going to take a long time to head up there, but they want to make a press and try and get some global gold back for that Mountain Drake at least. See how fast they can actually damage this turret, though, because TSM are in the area trying to collapse. There is a ward for Ray to teleport. Look at this pink ward in the river, by the way. It's a long way behind Apex, but he can get behind him, and he's going for it.
Yeah, he's teleporting right now. TSM charging forward, and Apex see that this is happening. Keen is coming forward as well. He's going to have to run through the team as he's split off. It's 5 versus 4. The Fish is going to find Shrimp, exhaustinize some of the damage, but TSM charge in. Shrimp is going to get the chrono shift, but that means Keen is undefended. Apollo gets destroyed by Bjergsen while Sven is in the back. Hanser is shielded on the front side, and TSM are cleaning it again through another auto attack. Bjergsen isn't done just yet.
Run, Keen. Tell the story of the Apex members who have died before you.
He's got no ult. Sven Scaren's going for it. Oh, there's the Chilling Smite and knock up. Ace for TSM. It's 11-0.
Woo, that is gonna be a full ace there for TSM. Everybody's dead. Team kill for TSM. They should be able to take this turret as well. They don't even want it. Leave that sucker behind. They're gonna recall, I guess. Set up maybe for the 20-minute Baron spawn right on the dot. I mean, you got a lot of options here as TSM. They already have vision in the blue quadrant. There it is. That's the ward we were talking about in the river to point out. Ray heads up there. Actually, Ray's holding up the caboose here, and Hanser gets a free shot. This Fish. Shrimp tries to protect Apollo there. You can see he takes it for him, but Hanser's right in the middle. He starts tanking, and this is the only real scary point for TSM was, oh, will Hanser die while we kill the rest of the team? He gets down to one more hit, able to Q to the other side, and Biofry shields him. So the answer is no. TSM clean 5 for 0 here as they chase down the last member. And even Zilean, warping time, cannot escape the Prey Seeker. Found ya.
There's the Chilling Smite. 11-0 once again for TSM. That's about a 4,000, 5,000 gold lead. They've got 2 turrets right now, 2 dragons. Next Drake is going to be the Cloud Drake. And they are all prepped around that Baron pit, though Hanser is split pushing on the far side, and Ray does have his teleport.
Yeah. So the small thing that Apex can at least take to heart is that it's a little bit difficult for TSM to actually pressure in the turrets. So Apex do have the option of turtle, but they're not turtling.
Is going to try to burst down Keen. The chrono shift should keep him alive, but X-Special will drop to Sven Skaren. Hanser joins the fight a bit late, but just in time to find Ray. He's going to be knocked up and secured by TSM. 13 kills to 0 for Team SoloMid, and now they've got that Baron.
Baron on spawn is a very rare thing, especially in competitive, but TSM are going for it. There's vision here for Apex. This has got to be the hero play. If they're going to make a comeback here, this is their opportunity. Zilean teleports in. Ashe does not have arrow, but he can walk.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage. Double Bomb is going to miss. TSM sitting safely in the pit. Hanser is chunked out. Baron is secured by TSM. Double Bomb finds Hanser and the volley. Oh, there goes the perfect game.
Hanser gonna go try and zone, quote unquote, for the rest of the team, even though Apex were backing off, and gets bombed up there. That is gonna be the morale boost for Apex. That's what they needed. They're on the board, boys. Is it, Dom? Is it what they needed?
It makes them feel better.
It's one thing. They need about 20 more things on the list, though, and that's a long grocery list.
6,500 gold, 2 dragons. TSM already setting up vision for the eventual Cloud Drake, and now they've got Baron buff on the 20-minute mark. Currently, looks like they're going to head towards the bottom lane as Double Lift and Biofrost going to try to get some deep vision into Apex's territory. Looks like Apollo and Shrimp are going to look for an arrow. The arrow finds Biofrost. Fear to follow it up. Double Lift looks to turn it around, but Biofrost is already dead. There's a culling it. Here comes Sven Scarin looking to get revenge for his fallen support.
I don't think they can get it, though. Biofrost gets nailed right there. Nice skill shot accuracy, at least, on the standing target for Apex. Get another kill back for themselves. Hey, so one more thing on the grocery list. Now there's only 19.
Yeah. And mid-tier 1 is going to go down. In the meanwhile, as Bjergsen clears that out, Keen sitting safely under that tier 2 while Hanser and Ray continue to keep themselves occupied on that top side of the map. Here comes Bjergsen now, looking for that tier 2 turret, continue to press into Apex's territory and try to shred through these turrets.
Well, minions are chipping away. I don't know about shredding, but TSM flows on another kill.
Yeah,
they don't even care about Siege.
Oh, he's going to be knocked up. There's another kill for TSM, 14-2, and they find the top tier 2 in a rotation.
0-6-0 for Ray on Trundle, and that is Rip also getting knocked up. Can they jump inside the base?
Monster eats another stun. Double Lift uses a culling. Looks like they might just look to break this inhibitor, and they have found how to do it. There goes the knockup from Xpecial. They need to finish it off, but they don't have any minions. And there goes a flash. Arrow is going to hit Double Lift. That's a huge stun. Heal keeps him alive, and TSM are able to back off.
Woo. So they are focusing pretty heavily on kills. It's about time for TSM to focus on finishing out the game, though. 23 minutes in. They barely get out this time around without Double Lift dying. But yeah, they're pretty much closing the loop here. So if they actually calm down a little bit and move up the wards, you know, and try and pressure side lanes, they do have teleport ready on Hanser, so they can react to anything. And in a straight-up numbers even game, they'll easily be able to bully out Apex.
Yeah. Well, sometimes that's the solo queue mentality. We are so far ahead, we can get away with anything.
Well, they're looking for more kills here. Double Lift and Sven Scarin close in on bottom. They've got him pinched. Ray looking to go 0-7.
Oh, man, he's taking a lot of damage.
No assist.
No assist
Didn't
for
even get it.
Scarin. That's another kill for TSM.
Oh, man. That is bold. You go Titanic Hydra when you're 0-6-0 Trundle instead of going full tank. Well, unlucky.
Yeah, Baron buff has now fallen off, and TSM are breaking the bottom tier 2 now. The only person to defend up here is Xpecial, though Apollo will finally cash up. Not quite enough minions to continue making this an effective siege, but on the far side, Hanser is putting some pressure on to Apex's base, and with Ray dead, there's no one who can answer.
True that. Very few answers would be correct here. Right now, Apex really setting up the bombs, trying to defend the Alamo.
Yeah. Oh, the fish is gonna miss right now. Subjugate was used. Hanser's
Throw
taking a
that to
lot
Ray.
of damage. Ray is doing a lot.
He's
Can
doing
he
it.
burn him down? He flashes. He wants this
Oh,
kill.
he's doing it.
Hanser's going to juke back around, and oh, he goes down.
Success! Ray gets a kill for himself. 0-7 Trundle. Solo kills Hanser.
It paid off.
Woo! And TSM leaves the base standing still. So,
Yeah.
I mean, all this focus on just nabbing kills for TSM, they have left the base intact for Apex. Even though they're facing a giant gold deficit for Apex, at least they're getting kills every now and then.
Yeah, 25 minutes in, TSM are up 9,000 gold.
Yeah. So we talked about cleanliness before, Dom.
Yes. Well,
That entails, you know, finishing out the game in an efficient manner, I think. A reasonably efficient manner, right?
Yes.
Everybody, you'll give them a couple gimmies. Okay, you can dive a couple turrets. You're that strong. You know, you can get an extra kill or something. But at a certain point,
it seems like they're just leisurely playing this out now.
yes. Definitely a little lackadaisical in their approach to the ending of this game. Open inhibitor on the top side. TSM spreading out. They're almost as far away from each other, everyone on the team, as they could possibly be. But they still have complete control of the game, so you get freedom to do whatever you want at this stage in the game.
But Kobe,
This is America.
Have Apex found out the secret sauce to beating TSM?
No.
Let them relax by getting them.
This does not look like it. If this is a very diabolical secret sauce, like this is.
I'm trying to paint the picture that TSM have some semblance of a weakness in some sort of situation, even if it is when they're up 10,000 gold.
Go back to
26
art school.
minutes
You're not a very good painter. John.
Okay.
Oh, solo down the bottom. Let's take a look at that sucker
Yeah.
again. This is cool.
Looks
Here we
like
go.
Hunter
Here we
wants some
go.
revenge.
You want some more, Hunter?
There's the subjugate. And Ray heals it back up. Hanser knows not to fight around that buff. He's actually taking a lot of punishment now.
That's what you call testing your limits. Now they're just curious.
Yeah. I don't know about these numbers.
Can I take this? Looks like I still can't take them.
Arrow is fired and is going to miss. TSM, they've got double lift splitting in the top lane. Could be looking to break down that first inhibitor of the game and finally crack open the map. Apollo trying to dissuade TSM, but Svenskeren and double lift will not be stopped unless more of Apex arrive. There's a stun.
Hunter's just getting teleported in. He's got a home guard sitting in Fountain right now. They need to drop a deeper ward for him, though.
And knockup is going to find Bjergsen, but Svenskeren is just running bodyguard. Double lift is exhausted. He's pinned and is forced to dash through the pillar. Hunter does TP in. He hops forward onto Xpecial. Xpecial goes low and is going to go down. And this might be TSM finally looking to end the match as Apollo eats a huge amount of burst. Hunter goes 2 Nexus turrets deep. He's finally going to go down to Keen. But the inhibitor is down, and it's currently 4 versus 3.
I'll take those odds if I'm TSM. So will Ray, actually. He wants another piece. He's emboldened by his success against the 1 versus 1s. And, oh! Well, a little too bold there from Keen.
Yeah. Keen reenacting his impression of Lod from last night. Gets destroyed by TSM, but Baron has now respawned, and TSM are already on it.
That's going to be the push buff. Let's see if they actually decide to go for a kill after taking it, or, recall and trying to end the game. They can just recall, wait for Hanser, 5-man push, Baron buff up the minions. Oh, here comes the...
Wow. Double lift
Kill.
Bjergsen. Absolutely destroys Shrimp. Baron buff is secured, and TSM continue to chase forward. Another kill for double lift. This is a happy day for you
He's on the
Fantasy
tape,
LCS
too.
members. Svenskeren dashes forward. Triple kill for double lift. And TSM, might they finally push for the Nexus and end the game?
Yes, Dom. I'm going to answer that question for you right now. They will stick around. Hanser's heading up the middle as well, so 5 on 2. No abilities, no money, no base.
Yeah,
for
this
Apex.
is the Nexus going down. TSM are going to go for a few consolation kills. Nexus is laid bare, and TSM are finally going to drop it after picking up a few more to make themselves feel better. Ray's actually trying to get a bit greedy here. There's the Nexus. TSM are undefeated, both in matches and in games, 6-0 and 3-0 in those matches. Can anyone bring down this team?
I mean, they haven't played everyone in the league yet.
Yeah,
so.
they played 3 teams.
But still, it can anyone, because they actually do look like the best team in North America right now. There were some questions around maybe Immortals, but if you look at the gameplay here, they've dominated their opponents. TSM have absolutely crushed all opposition that they've come up against thus far, and they look really, really hot right now.
Very solid play from Team SoloMid. Apex having a lot of difficulty in this series. Their second loss of the weekend. That's going to put them in the middle of the standings, 2-2 right now. Looking forward to see if they can grow and adapt over the course of the next week. But Team SoloMid, so very strong, looking so even casual as they walk by the fans. Yeah, another day in the office.
Yep, happy to go to work today. come away winners, and that's a pretty quick finish as well. We'll definitely be able to check in on the other stream on that series as well.
Yeah,
I think
so-
Cloud9's still going.
Yeah, not 100% certain. Let's talk a little bit about what worked so well for TSM. The fact that Sven Skaren was all over Ray
Well,
during the early game.
Yeah, I mean, there were some mistakes here from Apex. They were handed like a really strong tempo advantage. When TSM had that Infernal Drake read, they wanted to go for it early. They got chased off. That was a good move by Apex. They were able to stall them, but after earning that lead and that extra CS for Nidalee, they go for this invade, super greedy steal attempt on the blue. Meanwhile, up on the top side, Haunter also is able to take care of business. Level 6 Fizz on the Trundle, and he didn't really let up after that either. So on all areas of the map, when you lose simultaneously on top and on bottom, it makes it really hard to recover from, especially against a team like TSM that are so versatile. They're used to playing from any of the lanes. They were able to push it through really nicely in the mid game.
Yeah, they certainly were, but that's a clean 2-0 sweep from TSM, who are looking scarier and scarier with each victory. For a closer look at that last TSM W, let's send it back to the guys at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Scary is one way to put it, but two very dominant games out of TSM here. Still haven't dropped a game yet this split. So, I mean, they are turning up the heat. Not only within this series, Game 2, just putting the pressure on, turning the screws, but also in their first few showings here in the summer split.
They've definitely made the statement that they're the team to beat in the league right now. They have shown that not only, I mean, they haven't played the best teams in the league necessarily yet, but in their wins, they're very convincing that they are here to make a statement. They smash people when they should be smashing them, and this was another game of that.
Yeah, very clean, and they're always in the right place at the right time. It doesn't seem like they're making very big mistakes here and there. If you're looking to punish them, it's got to be at the lowest, smallest mistake that they're making, because macro-wise, they seem to know where to go and who to send to the right places.
Yeah, and while Apex obviously didn't look so hot in this series due to how well TSM was playing, that doesn't mean that there isn't things for them to learn and pick up from the series. I think for them, being a newer roster, granted they have plenty of LCS experience on the roster, but as a team together to play against the likes of TSM here, a very dominant team, this is going to be a tremendous learning experience for them in only week 2 of the summer split. That's the other thing we have to remember. There is so much time for these teams to develop and learn based on what they encountered in this series alone.
I think it really comes down to Shrimp in that early game. He was able to out-farm, but he started making mistakes in a team setting where you have to do a couple things, cover people when they need coverage, and he wasn't there for them. And so it looked nice to have that CS lead early, but then when that wave is coming into Ray, his top laner, he's just not there to cover him, and he gets dove, and from there the game just starts snowballing out of control just off that mistake.
Ray, speaking of Ray, unfortunately in League of Legends, as we all are probably very aware, sometimes mistakes happen, you miscue, mechanics fail, but we like to make light of that here on the LCS. So we're going to have a little replay of Ray's interaction, the enemy blue buff, or Shrimp rather, not Ray. I don't know why I said that. Yeah, see, we all make mistakes. I make mistakes.
That's so nice, EJ, to try and fit in. They go for a blue invade. The invade's not working out. He misses the flash, misses the pounce, face plant.
Let's see it again. Let's see it again. There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, we all make mistakes. Just
It's not as bad as Diana Herald.
That's true. That's what I was gonna say. We on the analyst desk here have plenty of experience screwing up. I just did in tossing that replay. Crumbs himself on the LCS stage. So
I'm immaculate.
Mark is perfect, as we all are painfully aware.
Yeah.
No, but, that is a minor thing. I do like, though, the contrast of your point in which there were things that he can actually learn from, right? The point of positioning when it comes to those lane swaps and those 2v1s, being able to recognize where on the map he needs to be in relation to the enemy jungler. In this situation, Sven kind of having his number, being in the right place at the right time, helping Haunter get ahead, making those dives happen left and right.
And you got to wonder if this is a communication issue or what the actual issue is here. But I would have liked to see a little bit more proactivity from Apex. I'd imagine that against a team that is playing at the level of TSM currently, you can't beat them passively. You have to be willing to make your own plays on the map and go through the risks and push through that. And we just didn't see that. And until we see a team that's willing to to bring it to them, then they're just going to keep rolling in an undefeated fashion.
Well, yeah, and one of the key members in making those, uncontested wins essentially happen is Doublelift, our player of the game. Almost flawless execution on that Lucian, 8-0-7, looking very much in form and looking very comfortable, again, with the likes of Biofrost in that bot lane. Definitely seems to suit him better in that duo pairing.
No, definitely. He's always been a mechanically strong player, and he's confidence driven. So like when his team's gelling, when everyone's firing all cylinders, he's really the one who's really gonna like seem so much better. Just because everyone's setting him up, he's making plays off them, and you see him dashing in, being super aggressive, and that's what he's been doing. Yeah, I really enjoyed the mic check they did last week where you could hear TSM talking over and how they synergize with their new support. And it's very clear that they love playing with this guy and they're trying to really make him feel comfortable in this new environment, which has a lot of pressure into it. And he seems completely unfazed by it and just safe to play the way that he wants to play, and it's meshing in wonderfully for TSM.
All right, well, in a moment, we will have an opportunity to speak to both Doublelift and Biofrost as they'll be coming in for an interview. While we get that set up, we're going to toss you guys over to NALCS 1, where C9 and Phoenix 1 are in the midst of Game 2. C9 up 1 game currently, and we'll see how that one turns out. Take a look.
So P1 made the right play by being there, but Cloud9 answer, chunking out Gate, he has to back, and then they push up the mid lane, and now that has to be cleared out, so now Cloud9 are in position. And Sneaky, we'll see those traps go down shortly.
Continuing to show superior side wave control as well. Huge wave on the top side. P1 want to fight. Dragon goes down. Meteor's going to get it. Now Sentinel locked up by Impact. The ulti out from Empyrean's going to keep Maokai there for a little while longer, but Sentinel maybe blown up here. Jensen going to sweep in and will take the kill. And Gates now just trying to zone them away. C9 very successful.
Yep, Cloud9 get there, set up, and you saw 2 traps there ending up landing on Sentinel. So he eats a lot of damage just from Sneaky. And right in the middle of the team, so the follow-up correct by Cloud9.
Might want to rotate to one of these side lanes though. Although Zig's going to go answer the bottom side, so maybe Baron is a call for C9?
Well, he's answering the bottom side, and he has no TP, so what you do is you try to deny the vision on Baron, the possibility, so that he can't just go down bottom, and he might have to miss that wave. Nobody's really getting any vision on it, because they see everybody from Cloud9 in mid lane.
Waves are nicely set up there, but C9 unfortunately can't take advantage. Pyrian and Slushy team up with Gate actually as well. And mid lane turret's going to be awfully hard to take down with all that wave clear. Zig looking stylish. Going to try and maybe a couple creeps here and there.
Yeah. His Aurelia is not bad.
Oh,
it
no,
hasn't
not at
been
all.
bad. Like I said, his team put him in an awful spot at the start of the game, and it just kept going worse and worse because they're like, okay, let's swap it back. Oh god, this is awful. Okay, let's just try and get out of the laning phase. And eventually, they do get out of the laning phase a bit here, and they're way, like, before it was 4,000 gold at 20 minutes in terms of how far C9 was up. Now, it's a measly 1.5k.
Yep, and that was just pretty much from the map play as well.
In comparison.
Thank you very much. Returning from the Cloud9 Apex series there. Cloud9, small gold lead, but here we are returning to our TSM Apex series as I do have Doublelift and Biofrost, our dynamic duo in the bot lane for TSM. Here to ask you a few questions. Number one, Biofrost into the LCS here on an undefeated streak so far with TSM, not even dropping a game, let alone a series. So starting 3-0 in the series, 6-0 in the games. How does that feel as a rookie to come in and be operating with such a dominant squad?
It definitely feels nice. My teammates are constantly supporting me, and the coaching staff is also very supportive, so it's made the transition fairly easy.
All right, now we got to talk about, or talk to Doublelift about your transition to TSM, how you went through the tryout process and your trip to Korea. But I want to hear from your perspective, having been the guy trying to, jump onto the roster. What was that experience like for you, knowing that you are competing against some other very top-tier talent?
When I first heard about the tryouts, I was really excited, and I knew that there were a lot of other very talented supports going into the tryouts. So I kind of took it with a grain of salt, and I just wanted to put my best foot forward. And going to the tryouts, I got along with the team members pretty well, so I really wanted the spot, and when I did get it, I was really happy.
Absolutely, and you've been performing very well as you did get that role. Doublelift, over to you. In a more holistic view, I've had some curiosities around TSM with their reformed roster, bringing Biofrost in, how quickly you guys would kind of assimilate him into the roster and perform well in this split. You seem to be doing it right off the bat. What do you attribute that most to? Why is it that this roster is clicking so well?
I think this split we just decided Well, we didn't really decide. We just all kind of agreed that we were going to focus on teamwork, which sounds really silly because every team kind of focuses on teamwork, but we were really, really like, damn, we have such sick laners, you know. Me, Bjergsen, Hanster, we pretty much always win lane. We're never really super down. But for some reason, things aren't really clicking. And, you know, Svenskeren, he has changed his jungle style so much. He used to be a really heavy counter jungler. Then he became like a Cinderhulk Sightstone bot, like a meatball. And then now he's kind of like finding his own style within the team, and he's always just trying to really support us and try to figure out like, oh, how can he help all 3 lanes, because we just try to work together that way. So this split, we were just saying like, yeah, we need to work on basically our map play, but mostly like all of our teamwork, and make sure that when we fight, like we're all on the same page. So that's kind of why our games are so bloody, is because we have like very lethal, like all-in execution on every play. And we just try to make sure like everyone on the team is aware like we're fighting right now, and everyone just like come join the party.
Where and or how does Weldon fit into this equation? Because you're saying that as a team we kind of made some decisions going into the split how we were going to reapproach League of Legends and how we operate together. But for him as a coach, kind of coming in and operating as that authority, where does he fit into this equation?
Oh wow, Weldon's changed a lot of just like our team mentality, and he's basically established like the kind of pillars that the actions that we try to follow through pretty much any game. We will always try to be making plays. We'll always try to be like executing on plays, and we're never just going to sit around and just like slowly lose, because that's just how we think the best team in the world should play. It's just always playing aggressive, whether you're ahead or you're behind, whether you're not really sure, like you're uncertain, you're indecisive. You should always try to be at least like putting them in a reactive position, and always just like making the first step.
Biofrost, assuming there are improvements still to be had for this TSM lineup and the way that you guys play League of Legends throughout the split, what would be the area in which you guys feel, or rather you feel, the team needs to improve the most to become unbeatable?
It's definitely a lot of it going to be on my shoulders on how I'm going to improve as a rookie player. There's just communication things that I need to understand, as well as just looking out for plays constantly. It's just the TSM style that we're constantly trying to be aggressive, and I need to be able to adapt to that. I think I'm being aggressive now, but there's definitely a lot of opportunities I'm currently missing.
All right, and Doublelift, you guys got your revenge on CLG in that first series of this split, so you're kind of on that path towards being the team to beat in the North American LCS. If we were to put anyone in front of you on the way to that, of course it would have to be Immortals, who were dominating the regular split in spring. You guys play them tomorrow. Talk to me about this matchup and the fact that you get to play a best of 3 against them.
Oh wow, I think it'll be really close. I really respect the way Immortals plays. I think it's very similar. We both try to be very aggressive, and we're always trying to put. We don't care what the gold lead is either way. We're just gonna fight a lot. So I think our game will be really entertaining. I don't know how it's gonna go. I'm gonna say maybe 2-1 either way, but I'm super confident that we're gonna win anyway. So maybe just 2-1 for us.
There it is. Promising, exciting games for us. I'm happy to hear that. Biofrost, what's your assessment of that bot lane for Immortals in Adrian and Wild Turtle?
They definitely seem very aggressive as well. Adrian was kind of the first support last split to like adopt all these different range supports, and people were kind of saying, you know, that's only NA. But now kind of everyone's playing these range supports, so it'll be interesting to see how our bot lane does versus them.
All right, fabulous. Once again, gentlemen, I want to congratulate you on your victory today. Wish you the best of luck in your game against Immortals tomorrow, and thank you for your time here in the interview. It is time now, though, for us to send you over to NALCS 1, where Cloud9 and Phoenix 1 are locked in a battle for Game 2 of their 3-game series. Let's send it to the action from NALCS 1 to close out the day.
Doesn't do it.